Okay, guys, this is the sheet that I used to when I was brand new in the business to help me determine whether or not I could take a cheap load or what was the cheapest load I could take. And again, the only reason why I would take a cheap load is because I either wanted to get into an area from where I was at that had better loads or to get home. Okay, so that's the only reason. But I wasn't just going to take any load. I was not going to take a load that I would lose money on, and this would tell me what the cheapest load was that I could take. And it also gave me a lot of other information about, what are my costs in running my business. So let me tell you how I use this. The way I did make this form, okay, and the way I made it is that all these green spaces, you can put numbers in. Okay, the yellow spaces have formulas in them. So, if I wind up putting a number in there, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna screw up the spreadsheet. So, I would start up here with monthly miles, and let's say that I was going to drive 8,500 miles in a month. Okay, so I would put 8,500 miles in, press enter, and now these have all turned to zero here. My fuel, let's just guesstimate my fuel at 4,500. That's roughly probably at about $4.25 a gallon at maybe 7.75 miles per gallon. Okay, that's about what that is. Might be a little bit more. I didn't have any meals or lodging. Parking, I like my prime parking. And so let's just say that cost me $300 in the month. I don't have any satellite entertainment. I don't have any tolls that don't get reimbursed. I don't have any loading and unloading that don't get reimbursed. Tires kind of goes into my maintenance account. Scales, I do have scales. I always scale. So let's say that I had about $150 in scales. Hey, you guys, don't rip my marbles on this, okay? This is just a guess. I could have gotten out some old paperwork and put them in, but hey, this is just for demonstration purposes, okay? And if you look up here, see how this is changing? Variable costs per mile, and that's what we're doing, variable. What does variable mean, by the way? I forgot to mention that. You only have these costs if your truck is running. That's why they're variable, okay? Fixed monthly costs are costs that you're going to have in your trucking company whether or not your truck is running. So if your truck is sitting for a month, you're still going to have a truck payment. You're still going to have a trailer payment if you have a trailer. You're still going to have insurance. You're still going to have all of these things, okay? So those are fixed. So that's the difference between fixed and variable. So let's go through this. Maintenance. Let's say I didn't have any maintenance. I didn't have any repairs. But let's say if I wanted to just put something in. Well, that's for maintenance. Let's say I know in a month I'm going to need a service. Let's put $375 in there. And miscellaneous expenses. I mean, I would put like, maybe $250, maybe $100, because you do have the IFTA, road tax, and so forth. It's negligible. It's like $25 a month or something. So let's just put $150 in here to take care of whatever little miscellaneous we have. Now, so we've gone through here and we have our total variable costs, okay, and it translates up here to 64 cents a mile. All right. So whenever we run our truck, it's costing us 64 cents a mile in variable costs. So let's go over to our truck payment or our fixed costs, and the first thing is our truck payment. Truck payment, $13.25. I'm just going to put in my numbers here because I remember them. Trailer payments, let's put in $6.50. Insurance, my insurance was I think $11.50. No health insurance. My wife is good for that, so she's got me on her plan. So $100 a month there. Permits are probably close to like $25 a month. Phone and internet, let's go ahead and put that at $250. My ELD subscription was $35 a month. Salary, let's just put in a salary of $6,000. I mean, I commanded a little bit more than that, okay? Okay. Now, after we get this in, now this is populated up here, our fixed costs, okay? $1.12. So, a mile, by the way. So, when you take that $1.12 and that 64 cents and add them together, it comes to $1.77. So, with all of these figures and all of these figures here, I would not be able to take a load less than 177 because I would be losing money. Now, how do you manipulate this? Well, why don't we not be lazy and not run 8,500 miles and run, let's say, 10,000 miles in a month? Okay, now look at our expenses came down, right? Because we have more miles, we have more work on our truck using these same figures here, and we now bring our cost down to $1.50. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Let me ask you a question. If I said here, well, I don't need to make 6,000. Let's say I only want to bring home 5,000. So we're going to put 5,000 in there. Now let me ask you something. Is that going to raise or is that going to lower that? What do you think? By lowering this 1,000, what is it going to do to this $1.50 figure? Well, let's see. We're going to press enter. Look at that, brings that down to 140 because we're lowering our expenses by $1,000 a month. Now, if I said, "Hey, I'm sorry, man, I gotta bring home $8,000 a month," okay? Now look, we're back up to 170 with these same expenses. So this is good for forecasting. This number can change easily by getting better fuel prices, right? Maybe negotiating a little bit with our salary to ourselves, right? The rest of this on fixed expenses is not going to really change. That is what it is. But this you can negotiate this, okay, with yourself, all right, and your wife, by the way, or your significant other. But maybe you don't need to have prime parking all the time, right? Maybe you're not going to scale as much, and do better on fuel. So this is what I use. Now, I'm going to give you a big reveal right here. Watch this. I told you I developed this. What I have done is I've made this available for you guys and you ladies. If you want a copy of this, it's going to cost you, and I'll tell you what that cost is in a minute. Okay, no, it's not going to cost you. All right, this is absolutely free. It's a simple tool. It's not for seasoned truckers out there or people who don't track their expenses. All right, which I think is dumb, but that's all right. We all run our businesses differently. This is absolutely free to you. You just email me at tony@trekkingtopicstoday.com, and all you got to say is, "I want the sheet." That's all you got to say. Tell me, "I want the sheet." Tell me in the comments, "I want the sheet." But if you tell me in the comments you want the sheet, I need to have your email address in the comments because I don't know who you are. Okay, YouTube doesn't give me that information. Do you want it? It's a good tool. It's a good starting point. What do you think?